You don't need to cancel your vacation. You need a system that lets you enjoy it without regret. Most people don't go into debt during the vacation. They go into debt after it. The flights, the food, the hotels, it all feels manageable in the moment. But when the credit card bill hits a few weeks later, that's when the stress shows up. This episode is about making sure that doesn't happen to you this summer. Let's go.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing that we can control, ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so that you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you're joining in, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you listen on Rumble, don't forget to follow the channel and like the video, and on any podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. So today we're going to walk through a very simple system that can help you enjoy your vacation without creating financial problems afterwards. We're going to cover how to plan your vacation spending ahead of time, how to use a sinking fund the right way when it comes to vacations, how to automate your savings into a manageable time frame, and how to actually fit all of this into a real budget using a real example. Because this isn't about restriction, this is about structure. And that's why, in most cases, budgets fail. That's why, in most cases, we resort to debt. Because we haven't built structure into our budget that allows us to have fun. Vacations are supposed to be fun. But if you walk into it and you spend more than you planned for or more than you have, it's not going to be real fun after the fact. In the moment, sure, all the emotions are running with pure happiness while you're there. But the second you come home, you don't want that to be stressful. So I want to start off with why vacations normally turn to debt. Because vacations in and of themselves are not bad. They don't create financial problems, but the lack of planning does. And most people approach summer like this. They decide they want to go on a trip. They estimate a cost. They go and then go on their trip, practically, right? And that's not how we should approach this. We shouldn't come up with this idea and then book the trip and then spend the money and then figure it all out later. That's not what we should be doing. The last step, figure it out later, that's where the debt's created. That's why most people end up in debt, is because they end up planning the trip through just an idea. They go from ideation to booking to spending the money to go on the trip to, I'll figure it all out later, right? Not very good. So what do you have to do? If you have to spend money that you don't have, well, the only way that you can do that is to, I guess you could take it from somewhere, but that's not good, right? So you go into debt, right? You go into debt. You put on a credit card, personal loans, finance the trip. All these things are options when it comes to going on a trip, going on a vacation that with money you don't have. So where I want to start with this is probably the easiest way that we can start to approach it. And it's through something called a sinking fund. And it sounds possibly complicated or overly complex, but it's really not. A sinking fund is just money you set aside before you need it. Now, I like to treat it differently than I would an emergency fund, right? Because an emergency fund has no intended output other than it's an emergency. A sinking fund is not that. A sinking fund has a very specific thing that it's going to get spent on. You're putting money aside before you need it for a specific purpose, okay? So when we look at a sinking fund, it's not complicated. It's just very intentional. Instead of reacting to expenses, you just prepare for them. And when we look at it, a sinking fund can really be broken down into some pretty basic things to create the structure. You first set a total goal and you look at how much do you need for this sinking fund. Now, today we're talking vacations, but sinking funds can be applied to anything out there. Even if you think of it as like, I know one day I'm going to need a new vehicle because mine may break down. You could start a sinking fund, not even knowing what the total is or the timeline to get it. You want to just start a sinking fund to get to a particular amount to buy a potential like replacement vehicle. Now what we're talking today we're talking vacation. So if you want to set a vacation total goal, that's step one. Step two is you just break it up into monthly or weekly amounts to something that's manageable. And then you save consistently. You do that, you put that manageable amount away consistently, and then you can spend it without stress because you've been very, very intentional with putting that money aside. So let's say your vacation is going to cost you $3,000 and you have 3 months to get it. Well, pretty easy math there. 3,000 divided by 3 is going to say we need $1,000 a month. Or break it up into weekly, you need about $250 a week. That's manageable. It's manageable if your income supports it and if your budget supports it. But maybe you don't have $3,000, or maybe it is $3,000, but you plan 6 months instead of 3 months. Well, now you need $500 per month, right? So the further out that you know that you're planning this expense, the more manageable it becomes. Okay. So keep that in mind. The further out you can plan or anticipate this expense, project this expense, the more manageable it is. If you plan to go on a trip in 3 months, like let's say like right now it's April and you want to go on a trip come July, yeah, 3 months is kind of pushing it, right? But you got to save April, May, June to go on your trip in July. Okay. So if you have 3 months to hit 3,000, it's $1,000 a month. Now it's manageable, but totally income dependent. Okay. But that's where we start. Where we start is that you need to first identify what the sinking fund is and plan on it being your vacation sinking fund. That's the strategy. It's the strategy we're using. The rest of what I'm going over is to show you how to make that easier. Okay. So sure, that is the plan. The plan is to set a sinking fund for your vacation. Now let me show you how to make that more manageable over time. So where we go to is we like to use the word automation. I should probably do this. Automation, right? So we're going to automate those weekly vacation savings. So the easiest way to fail at this is to rely on willpower and just say, well, I'm going to log into my bank every time I get paid and I'm going to transfer the money. I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying you're more likely to not do that than to have your automated system work for you. So just let the automated system work for you. Don't rely on willpower. So instead, what we want to do to make this sinking fund work and actually be able to go on our vacation stress-free, we want to automate those weekly savings. Okay, so to do that, we're going to build a system. And the system is this simple automation flow. Income is going to come in. It's going to hit your checking account. It's going to auto transfer directly into that vacation fund. Okay. Notice there's nothing I have to do after I set up the transfer. There's nothing I have to do. I'm going to get paid. Money's going to hit my checking account. It's going to have an automatic transfer that's going to happen right after I get paid. And it's going to hit that vacation fund. Very, very important because every week, every month, whatever you set this up, every 2 weeks, you get paid every 2 weeks, maybe just every paycheck. You're setting a certain amount to move automatically to that vacation fund. So what does that mean? You don't have to think about it. You won't skip it. It's just going to happen. So when it's time to go on your vacation, because that's been automatic, you know you've got enough to go on the vacation because you set, going back to the basics, you set the total goal that you're going to hit. You set the timeline. You broke it down into those monthly, weekly, bi-weekly amounts, and then you did it consistently through this automated transfer. So you can go on your trip, your vacation, stress-free. Okay? So the next thing we want to look at is you have to pre-plan your spending. So saving for the vacation is the first part. That gets you enough money. That gets you enough money to go on the trip, right? So you set aside $3,000 and you started in April, you set aside $1,000 a month, you've got your $3,000 set up, and now it's time to actually go on the vacation. And this is how you do it, because this whole episode is about going on a vacation, stress and debt free, right? We don't want any debt. We don't want any stress. We want to enjoy our vacation. So what do? We have to pre-plan our spending, because saving is only half of the equation. You also need to decide how much you're going to spend. So we do that very simply. We do it through how we manage money in our personal life. We do it through a budget. We're going to set up a vacation budget. And you need to make sure that these items are in there, because if you try to live your vacation on bare bones, you've made it stressful for no reason. You've made it less enjoyable for no reason, because you did all the planning ahead of time. You did all the saving. You did all the things to have a good vacation. You need to set up a vacation budget. It needs to include travel. How do you get there? It needs to include lodging. Where do you stay? It needs to include food. What do you eat? It needs to include activities. What do you do? And it needs a buffer. Don't forget the buffer. The buffer is important. The buffer is very, very important. It's how you continue to have fun on your vacation. The buffer is important, because without this structure, you could overspend. You truly could overspend. So you have to make sure that you include it. Now, why was I so expressive over the buffer part? Because most people forget it. And when something comes up during that vacation that you need to, like for instance, all of a sudden you planned on going to this restaurant and they were going to provide free parking. And you get there and they're like, yeah, we do provide free parking, but we are out of slots for tonight. So now you have to go park in like a public parking deck, right? And that parking deck is going to cost you, for the duration of your time in whatever area you're in, it's $15, right? That's $15. If you're living on a strict budget throughout your vacation, and you leave yourself bare bones on everything, you got to start taking away from what? Travel, lodging, food, or activities to pay for that parking that you had no idea that you were going to need to pay for, right? You didn't plan for it. So you can't take away from travel. More than likely, it's probably a pretty set expense. Lodging, probably also a pretty set expense. So now what are you doing? You're taking away from food and activities. So you're taking away from good eating, socialization, and fun of food, along with good fun activities, right? So now you're making your vacation not as fun, because you didn't add the buffer. That's why I overemphasize that so much, because you need that in your personal life too. You need to build buffers into your personal budget, because we need all of these so that we can make intentional decisions throughout our vacation. Now, where I want to go to next is how you can look at this from a real world example. Let's make this all real. Let's say you make $75,000 a year. Let's say that's about $4,800 a month after taxes. You want to take a $3,000 vacation in 4 months. If that's the plan, it could look something like this. This is a perfect vacation savings plan for 4 months out. You're going to be saving $750 per month so that you can take a $3,000 vacation in 4 months, right? In 4 months. This is what you're looking at. This is what you want to make sure that you're going to hit. It's very easy. It's very easy. You got $4,800 a month coming in after taxes. You need $750 of that to go toward your vacation. So if you do it right, you're going to have enough. You're going to have enough. If you look at that and you're like, well, there's no way I can save $750 a month. $500 is the best I can do. You've just got to push the vacation out. You've just got to push the vacation out, right? You're not going to be able to hit that number. Or if that's dead set time frame for you to go on your vacation, you got to reduce the spending. You're going to stay at a cheaper lodging, place. You're going to have to spend less on travel. Maybe you have to eat at less fancy restaurants, like less activities. Maybe all of those things may have to be cut so that you can meet the timeline of because you either have to reduce time or cost. You got to reduce one of them, right? So anyways, that's how we have to do it. Because in the end, if you don't do this, well, you end up with no plan, credit card debt, and stress, right? And that's not what we want. We want the sinking fund. We want to pay cash for the trip, no debt. We want to go in peace. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to make sure that we have a good time on this vacation. Same vacation here, completely different outcomes. One comes home with debt. One comes off the vacation feeling relaxed and at peace and ready to take on whatever the next weeks have for them, okay? But this only works if you fit it into your real life, right? It only works if you fit it into your real life. You've got to figure out how much you can spend, because going back to my example, $4,800 a month in income take home, if you've got $2,500 in bills and you got $1,500 in spending, your vacation fund sitting at $800, like you got to figure this thing out. You got to make sure that you're going to be okay. And if this doesn't look good for you, if you're like, yeah, like my spending is not that though, my spending is $2,000. Well, guess what? If your spending's $2,000, you've only got $300 to go towards vacation. Right? You got $300 to go toward vacation. You've got to figure out a number that you can make work inside of your budget. You can't just magically feel like I'm just going to go on a vacation. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. It doesn't. You come home with stress and you go out there and you really want to have a good time. But the whole time you're there, you're thinking about, man, like this is tough. This is a lot of money. This is not good. Like, that's what you're thinking about. And that's not what we want. We want vacations to be fun. We want vacations to be enjoyable. So I'm not here to tell you to stop taking vacations. That's not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do is to stop financing them after the fact. Stop putting them on credit cards and working to pay the credit card off for the next summer's vacation. Instead, build this system. Build this sinking fund strategy. Build that system and start early and give yourself permission to enjoy something that you saved up for. Don't sit around and wait for this vacation, this tranquility to just come to you. It's not. You got to save for it. You have to make it a deliberate decision and project that spending and save for it in a deliberate manner. So this is what actual financial control feels like. It's when you're projecting the spending, you're saving for it, and you're putting your money out there to go toward whatever it is that you're trying to go toward. It could be building wealth. It could be saving for a home. It could be anything. You just have to be deliberate about it. So I hope you got something out of this episode. I hope that this really helps you understand how you can go on vacations completely debt-free, stress-free, because this is all it takes. Take some planning, breaking it down into what you can afford, right? From a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly perspective to automatically set aside, and then go and enjoy your vacation. So leave a comment below if you got something out of this episode. What is the next vacation you're planning for? Where are you going? What are you saving for? What kind of time frame are you giving yourself? Let me know. I'd love to kind of read through those and see how you're approaching saving for your vacation today. So till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.